So for right now, man, this is just, I mean, do you have any recourse? What are you doing at this point? Because the way that I understand from what you're saying is that the judge has basically said, gives you no right to your children, puts them in charge, but they're probably, from what I'm getting, maybe they're a little bit afraid of their father, of his displeasure. So at this point, what do you do?
Well, what I did is, I'd asked that judge at that time, can I see him for Christmas? Can I eat a hamburger? I'm just so upset that this is going on and my lawyer's doing nothing. So
Right.
I decided to fire my lawyer. So anything I file is on my own, pro se or pro per, however I'm going to do it. So I've already filed some motions already immediately. I started filing motions, and I did a motion to enlarge or amend, which in Iowa is the same as a motion for reconsideration. It got denied. It said you cannot bring up new evidence. I didn't bring up new evidence. I said you need to look at the evidence before you. But I didn't know this, that I can send all this evidence in I want, and I had over 60 pieces of evidence. Only about 15 were brought into the courtroom. And I didn't know that till after. You don't see that docket till after the list. So these are the things they brought in. But none of that even got mentioned. I never got asked about any of my evidence whatsoever.
Wow.
My ex even said I was so crazy showing up at the school 3 years ago saying I'm not leaving without my older 2 children. I was primary to. He had abducted them the day before, so I showed up at the school and I called 911. Please help me, please help me. They wouldn't let me leave with my children. So my ex, when he was on the stand at that point, he said she was so crazy and screaming and running through the halls, none of this happened, and that she was so crazy that they brought in the SWAT team and Des Moines, Iowa police helicopter was hovering over the school. So that was on that Wednesday, the 16th of November, so I drove to the Iowa Polk County Sheriff's Department because that's who comes out to the school.
Okay.
And there's 2 policemen in the parking lot. I said, hey, do you have a helicopter? And they said, no, we've never had, nor will we ever. Oh, interesting. And I told them what happened. And they're like, what is this guy, crazy or something? I go, yeah. And the judges sat there and believed this. He says, we've never had a helicopter. They should have caught on to that right away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, yeah.
Willing blindness.
Just unbelievable.
So now you said you had a sheriff that came out or something at one point.
Oh,
What
yeah.
actually?
On that third day, are you talking about my hearing, my late hearing? Did you know about that?
I don't know.
Okay, so
I heard.
I have to say this. So the third day of the hearing, my mom doesn't, we had her turn around. She's helped kind of with this alienation process as well.
Help to fix it or to make it worse?
Make it worse.
Oh, that's wonderful.
My ex didn't allow her to see the children either. So after 500 days, he thought, I'm going to let Grandma see the kids so she can side with him. And he told her not to tell me that the girls were down at her bait shop. So I didn't know until I have relatives everywhere and friends. And then I had a friend call me and said, I think your daughters are down there. So I called and found out they were. And so my mother came in. I told her, he's only sending them to get you to side with them. And you're the reason there's no grandparents' rights in the state of Iowa. People like you that do this. Because you take these kids and make them like they're your own, and then we don't see our children. So I said, you're doing a disservice to grandparents all over that are actually good grandparents.
Right.
And so when she came into the courthouse, she was on the bottom floor as I was leaving, mad and crying. And I left my friends and everyone upstairs. I just couldn't take it. And I was running down the stairs. I said, why are you here? She said, I just wanted to see the outcome. And I said, oh, well, I lost my kids. And she says, well, what are you going to do about it? Oh, well, I lost my kids, thanks to you, the ex, the court system, and everyone. So you should be happy now. And now I guess they're your kids. And she says, I think you need psychoanalyzed. Well, interesting, because my ex said that on the stand. So they're collaborating. So I proceeded to call their names, and the sheriff told me to shut up, and he says, I will lock you up and take you over to the jail across the street. I said, please do. I would love to go over there, and media will get involved. So he wouldn't do it. And then when my mom said something also, something extra derogatory toward me, I said something else colorful, and he says, "Get over here," and he handcuffed me. Now, I'm still crying at this point. I don't care that I'm handcuffed, but I'm crying about I just lost my children.
Right.
So he's got me up against the wall and then shoves me down in the chair. My guy is telling him, "Stop, stop, stop." My lawyer comes out, "What the hell is going on?" My mom's beating on the lawyer's chest, who she doesn't even know, and said, "Why is she blaming me in doing this?" I said, "Get her out of here, get her out of here." I start getting sick. They said, "Stand up so we'll get you something to get sick in." "No, I'm not moving until you get the sheriff here. The sheriff's my friend." And I said, and I turned around and I said, "I have this PTSD. I don't like confrontation. I don't like, this is claustrophobic. You got me stuck in this corner. I'm about to have a heart attack," I felt like. I said, "Call Sheriff Leonard." And he says, "He's not going to do anything for you." I said, "Call Sheriff Leonard or I'm going to sue all of you." He called Sheriff Leonard, put him on speaker. When Sheriff Leonard said, "Who is it?" He said, "My name is Jodi Mueller." He says, "Oh my God, get the handcuffs off of her right now." And he said, "I'll be there in 10 minutes. He met me up in the conference room, and I had my friends up there, and he just came in and hugged me and said, "I'm so sorry that happened." And he told everybody, he goes, "This is unbelievable. I've known Jodi a long time, and I've seen her her reactions with the kids and their reactions with her. They love this mom." And he says, "There's no way this should have happened to this mother. No way." And he just said, "I'm going to go talk to the judge." He goes, "There's probably nothing I can do." I go, "No." You know, so, and he's a good guy. He really is. I know some people don't like, they think they might be involved with this, but I don't believe so. He's a great guy.
Wow.
So since that time, like I said, Jeff, I've been writing motions by myself. Each motion gets denied. I've done the motion to reconsider twice, denied. I did a motion to clarify, denied. I wanted him to clarify what superior parent means to them, denied. I asked for a motion for extension of time because I had ineffective assistance of counsel, denied. So, because I wanted time to file a notice of appeal.
Right.
So now I have just 3 days to file that. It's 30 days.
Wow, this is incredible. So sorry.
And then I was even awarded $2,500, whoopee, because I went up to Iowa so many times. And the judge even made fun of me and stated, "Why would you come up here for reunification therapy? After 1 or 2 times, you should have been smart enough to know that your ex wasn't bringing the children."
Because they were under a
said,
court order?
That was a court order. So I said, "Are you making fun of me for abiding by my court order?" So he said,
Well,
"Who
is this judge? He needs to be...
Paul R. Huscher.
Paul R. Huscher.
Huschcher.
Huschcher. Judge
Yes.
Paul Huscher.
Huscher. Dallas
Good.
County, Iowa. And
This is incredible.
and Judge Holst is responsible for the emergency order that I was not privy to. So that's Gregory Holst, Hulse. So they were both
Okay.
in cahoots together. So he made fun of me for abiding by my own order
Wow.
and let my ex off on contempt of that order.
Yeah.
And so he says, "We're going to give you $2,500. Whoopee. Okay.
And you've spent, what, about $80,000 close to?
I've spent $65,000 in lawyer fees so far, and I'm up to over $40,000 in medical bills.
Wow.
Now this is just on these two.
Right.
On my 3 years prior was about, I think that was $25,000,
Wow.
and that was just that.
And you have to wonder if maybe part of the corruption is just because of the money part,
Completely.
because somebody makes money off of
Yes.
this.
And I asked the judge too. I said, "Why would you give him sole custody when he only asked for primary? That tells me you get a bonus for making me completely a non-custodial parent." And I found out that is absolutely true.
That happens in Iowa?
Yes, it's absolutely true.
Incredible.
So, if nobody knows about Title IV, D and E,
So tell us quickly, just
And then
real quickly
AFCC.
here, about the Title IV and...
Title IV D and E is incentives that the U.S. government gives to the states. They take money out of your Social Security, give it to the Appropriations Committee at the U.S. government level. They split it up 50 ways to the states. Those legislators in the Appropriations Committee, or Ways and Means, I'm not for sure, okay, they decide where that money's going to go. So they might get matching funds for child support, or if they collect, say, 80% of all child support they need to collect in each state.
So what you're saying is that there's a financial incentive for them to impose child support and collect it?
Right.
And so then
that's
would it be that
why-
the higher the child support, the more money they make?
I don't know for that.
Okay.
Sure, Jeff, on that.
Okay.
I mean, other people could probably tell you that.
Okay.
So I don't want to say anything that's not right. But
Right.
so
Sounds like a racket, though.
it's a huge racket, and I'm not saying for all you parents that are getting this child support, I'm not saying that it shouldn't be
Right.
given to you
Right.
at all. That's just a part of it. Now CPS will take children out illegally, and they
Right.
get bonuses. Now,
Right.
I've
And
just
yeah,
recently learned
that's well known.
yeah, and I've just recently learned that my situation, where they take a primary and move you to non-custodial, is through the AFCC, and you'll have to look that up too. It's American Family Conciliatory Courts or something. The incentives, I don't
Is there
know.
money to be made in that too?
But basically, look what happened. I mean, they take my children, but whatever it is they lost,
Yeah.
they gained in my 65 grand.
Wow.
And it keeps the fighting going. And I think the problem is these protective parents like myself and everybody else going through
We'll
this,
fight.
they know we're going to fight.
Yeah.
And
So they make it so that you have to fight, so that they will take, because the person who doesn't care, they're not going to put up the money for it. So it becomes
isn't it interesting that people will go to jail for non-payment of child support, but not for abducting a child and jumping jurisdiction and going against the UCCJEA.
yeah,
They don't go to jail for that.
yeah,
The only way you can get law enforcement to help you, or like the FBI, is if someone takes your child out of the country. If they take them state to state or just down the block and withhold them,
right,
nothing law enforcement will do.
Yeah.
No, not any fault of law enforcement. If anyone's out there, their hands are tied. So the only way, like you and I learned, is you ask for sole custody. And then
Yeah.
if they take them, you might have a shot.
Yeah.
I also learned from Sheriff Leonard 3 years ago to have your court order state a line in there that if the child is taken from you or withheld, the police can go get that child and not be held liable. If that line's in there,
then you're okay.
then you're okay, but it's real hard to get a judge to do that.
Right, right. Well, Jodi, I'm so sorry to hear about all of these things. I wish you all the best. I know that there have been a lot of people that have been watching your case. I know that up in Iowa, that there have been people following, as well as throughout the nation. I will do what I can to make this more public.
Okay.
I
was so upset not only losing my children, Jeff, but when I left, I felt defeated. Not only for losing my children, but I felt an obligation as the founder of that parental alienation
Right.
rights. I felt an obligation to try to get case law for people.
Right.
I learned that you don't get that without going to appellate court.
Right.
And that's why I'm trying to go, because I want case law for other people to
Right.
get some help. But
And you know that we're working with representatives and senators here to try to get laws changed as well. Because even judges have told us that, at least for me, I've had 2 judges that have said, we can only do so much. You need to get the legislators to make laws to help
Right,
us.
right.
And
Yeah,
and
if anyone's not going through this parental alienation, simply go Google your state.
Yeah.
What custodial, what guidelines, I guess.
yeah,
Like in Iowa, it's 598, and then 710 for kidnapping. Not one time in your kidnapping code in the state of Iowa does it mention a parent kidnapping a child,
right,
which seems
Right.
odd when that's the majority of the kidnapping.
Right.
But
right.